from delivering newspapers to households to educating 62,000 people on Instagram right now.
India would have produced more traders than doctors and engineers.
As a trader and investor, do you like trading more or investing more?
Trading, there is a very thin line between gambling and trading.
And option buyers, if there is no volatility, you're not going to make money.
I'm not a fund manager.
Okay.
I am not the greatest fish in the sea.
The market has fallen to good levels where you're getting stocks for very cheap prices.
Right.
People would never be interested to invest in this kind of market where they are like, let's say DMart announces a discount sale. You will see thousands of vehicles parked outside DMart.
Right.
But in terms of stock market, when market is falling, people are always afraid.
If you're not a disciplined guy, you're gonna very big in trading. Very big.
Welcome to Decoding the Markets with Trading Academy Bengaluru. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a podcast channel which is focused on interviewing traders across India. We have already had many traders who have traveled across India to Bangalore to be on the podcast with Decoding the Markets. And we have a special guest in this special episode who is Rakshith Gowda. He is a local boy from Bangalore who used to deliver newspapers to households, is right now delivering knowledge to thousands of trading aspirants or already people who are trading in the stock market. So he is sharing his experiences on how he got into the financial world, and this might turn out to be an inspiration to you guys as well. His journey is a complete roller coaster. Even I am very inspired by the things he said. So if you want to be inspired, if you want to start your financial journey, this is the podcast to watch, and please do watch it till the end and leave us a like, share and subscribe at the end. Rakshith, welcome to Decoding the Markets with Trading Academy Bengaluru. We are honored to have you in our podcast today. We have had multiple guests over the last few months. So this is a thing which we have started recently. This is basically to educate the audience. Everyone is going behind making money, earning money in the stock market, but they really do not understand the importance of education. So you have a very hard journey. You have come through a very hard phase in your life. It has basically been a roller coaster in terms of what I have understood with your descriptions. So it is an inspiration for many people, from delivering newspapers to households to educating 62,000 people on Instagram right now. It is a great journey, man. I really appreciate that. So basically, I want to understand what made you come into the field of finance, Rakshith?
So finance basically, as I said, when we were having a discussion about how all these things started. So basically my teachers, I would say, when I was in my BU, they asked me to study about Satyam company. And then it just got me interested. And then when I was in my graduation, I remember Satish sir, he was a trader.
Okay.
He used to invest. So he used to talk about stock markets, like, when there is real life scenarios, textbook scenarios, he wanted to relate it.
Okay.
So at that point of time, I got really interested. I approached him and then I asked, if I can do this.
Okay.
So you need to have a PAN card, you need to have bank accounts, and then this is how it works. So at that point of time, I was not having them.
Okay.
And then, so there was one thing that was clear that, once I start earning, once I start making money working for someone, I invest money in the Indian markets or good companies, and that's how I grow my money.
Okay.
That was the whole idea. But things changed in 2020 once the reality starts. Like, I started making money. Then I had my DMAT account, and then the first thing that everyone does is finding shortcuts. Correct. You would want to make money early. You would want to make quick money, and then instead of investing, I focused more on trading, where got too much messed up with my entire mental health, financial health, everything. Because at that point of time, you're not even looking at 10-20% a day. You're looking at 50-100% a day.
Correct.
You want to buy a call option at 100. You want to
post-COVID, I think the premiums movement was crazy.
Crazy. It was very crazy. And in fact, there was a guy, Govind. Okay, he used to run a Telegram channel.
Okay.
Where he used to give tips. So he asked me to join the channel. So I was searching how to make money in the market, and then I found his Instagram page. I texted him. He asked for, I think, barely 500 rupees for the lifetime membership to join his Telegram channel. And then I joined. He started giving calls. then I used to keep on saying, unless and until you give me a reason why I have to do this, I would not get the confidence to buy.
Okay.
So then he became close. I've never met him or everything was online. Like we used to just chat and then talk on call. So he told me that don't follow my calls. I'll be very honest with you. This is all the method to make money. So don't follow this method. So if you're really interested, I can teach you what are technicals and all those things. Even after that, I started losing good amount of money. Of course, in the home, my grandparents didn't knew that I'm losing money. And after that, I realized trading is not something it works this way. Right, and then I came across influencers, people talking about stock markets, people talking about trading and all these things. So now when I see people, sitting in front of charts and aiming towards 10-20% a day, I would just laugh.
Correct.
At that point of time, the whole scenario was different. Right? If someone says like yearly 12%, 13%, I would just laugh. Right, and then option selling, I started building systems. Then I realized that even for that you need good amount of capital.
Correct.
Because at the end, no matter what we say, the fundamental existence of stock market is asset class.
Correct.
Equities at the end of the day, it's an asset class.
Correct.
Just like your real estate, just like your gold, just like your any other asset class, fixed income asset classes. So, stock market is also an asset class. Now, at a certain point, every asset class will give you an average return of what they have been giving in the history.
Okay.
Right? Gold gives you 8% CAGR.
Correct.
Stock market gives you 14%, 12-14% as of now CAGR. Right? So, similarly, at end of the day, probably in the end of 10 years, 15 years, that mean proportion would be met.
Correct.
Right. So
but I think looking at the crowd, when we speak about 8-10% a year, or our indices giving 12-14% a year, people expect that to happen every year. Like let's say this year it is not likely to happen. Last year we did not get any returns. Market initially made an all-time high and never broke it. This year initially it was showing good signs, but due to the current scenarios, geopolitical reasons, market has not been performing. It has fallen quite a bit, and we are getting stocks at a good discounted price. I want you to educate the audience, like let's say someone who is new to the market, or even experienced people make this kind of mistake. Like when right now the market has fallen to good levels where you are getting stocks for very cheap prices.
Right.
People would never be interested to invest in this kind of market where they are like let's say DMart announces a discount sale. You will see thousands of vehicles parked outside DMart.
Right.
But in terms of stock market, when market is falling, people are always afraid. So what kind of a mindset should you create as an investor? Basically, you told me you have moved into asset class investing. So basically where you invest into stocks and mutual funds and all these instruments, ETFs. So how is your mindset compared to rest of the crowd? So what different things do you do to keep yourself getting good returns? Like let's say right now stocks are at 30% discount, let's assume. Even if they recover back to all-time high, you will be at a very good return. So this is a great opportunity. How are you looking at this situation?
See, the way I look investing is very simple. I accept myself that I'm not a fund manager.
Okay.
I am not the greatest fish in the sea. I acknowledge that I know nothing about the market.
Okay.
For me, from a common man perspective, this is a place where I invest my money believing in the economy of the country. Now it is giving 12-14% historically. It's only going to either come down a bit or there might be 1-2% up and down. At the end, it's only going to meet that. Now, how others see to make 40-50%, 100% a year, it's just that them fighting over the market unnecessarily.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, fund managers who's been having 15-20 years of experience makes 14%, 15% or 18% max very hard way, right? Be it, you pick up any fund manager for that matter who had 15-20 years of experience. Now people with 15-20 years of experience could make that kind of return. Me with just 5-6 years, I cannot expect making 30-40% return.
Correct.
That is a delusion that we live in. The trading delusion. Usually I think the rest of the crowd is also living right now. So that's what I would say them. Just don't see this as a thrill, or don't see this as like a place where your entire life will change. Sometimes we just don't have to over exaggerate trading game or anything. Trading is trading, because if you see, if just by seeing charts, if just by seeing red candle or green candle, if anyone could make money, trading would have India would have produced more traders than doctors and engineers.
Correct.
The problem is that I'm not saying you cannot make money there or you can make money. The debate is not on that. What I'm trying to say is that people make money over probability and possibilities. Trading, there is a very thin line between gambling and trading.
Correct.
You trade, it is also a sort of proper risk to reward game. Gambling, there is no reward. It's only risk. You are only going to lose money at the end of the day.
Correct.
Right. In trading, you might have a small positive edge, and that edge comes from a lot of experience, systems, understanding the possibilities and probabilities, and permutations and combinations. You do all these things and then have some positive edge. Then there are chances that you might become a successful trader.
Okay.
But the possibilities of having that, it's very less.
It's very less. It all comes with experience.
Correct.
Like many people have spent half their lives learning about stock market, learning how to get an edge in their systems. And it takes a lot of hard work. Like I've seen people tell after 3 years, so recently the social media trend has started. And why I am impressed with your channel is you never advertise lifestyle, you never do all of those things. I believe you do not have to show someone your car or your bike to get them to learn your course. So basically you give them the right education, you give them the right value, they'll be with you. So that is the value you're adding to your audience. So everyone will have this doubt. Like initially when I started as an investor. So I built my capital. Post-COVID made amazing returns. 2021 got a call. He told me, I'm going to give you good trades. You're going to make 50%, 60% a day. So what I did was all my investments, what had given me great and crazy returns. Like now we cannot expect those kind of returns because market is not at a dirt cheap price. Market is already overvalued. Even after this big fall, market is overvalued according to me. So I lost all my money with taking calls, and many people have many different experiences. At the end of the day, I still love investing. I do trading only to make money.
Correct.
Investing is an art. Trading is a place where I make money. So I segregate two of those things. But many people's mindset, most of the people, not many, most of the people who are there in the stock market currently active, they are either like who will do investing, or people will be like who will trade. So I have separated both of them, which gave me enough clarity to understand. And I feel because I have segregated it, one or the other place, my capital is completely safe. So that is what I have understood. So as a trader and investor, do you like trading more or investing more?
Investing, because see, as you said, investing is an art, right? Trading becomes very hard. Like, I'll tell you something, if I'm free to tell.
Yeah.
Right? Trading now, it is directly correlated to how you live your personal life. It's directly it's directly related, not even correlated. If you're an emotional guy in your personal life, if you don't know how to handle emotions, if you get triggered easily, if you're not a disciplined guy, you're gonna very big in trading, very very big, and it's only going to get worse and worse. So if you want to be successful in trading, first you have to be disciplined at life that you're living, and you need to know how to manage your emotions. It's not like morning I shout out at everyone in my home and then I sit in front of the charts and try to be calm. It won't happen.
Correct.
So that habit builds over a period of time, and it's very late people accept it. That trading and life both becomes same.
Correct.
Investing and trading is different, but trading and your real life becomes really it just goes with your life, because once you start trading, like it has happened with me, right? Every time you look at the market, even like now, let's say if I'm selling a far away put option, I just want the index or the underlying asset to be above a certain level.
Correct.
Even after knowing that, I would still be looking at it until the market is open. So that becomes an addiction, and you remove that addiction only through realizing that okay, it has to change from the core values.
Correct.
Being disciplined, being calm, not making decisions just because one trade is lost. One trade. I think this mindset comes from Harish Naik sir. He's my manager, my boss. Okay. So since last 2 years I've been working with him.
Okay.
He's been in the market since last 18 years. These are all from the trading perspective. I had a different trading perspective before meeting him and after meeting him.
Okay.
And the way he looks at investing, the way he looks at trading gave me good amount of clarity.
Okay.
This is what it is. Your personal life matters. You are who you are in personal life and trading life both. You cannot be two different person. In real life you're someone, and then your trading life you're someone. So if you want to be a profitable trader, you will also have to fix your real life emotions. Be disciplined, and so that's the only way.
Understood. So Rakshith, basically we have covered most of your journey on how you started trading, how you entered the market, what all you have done.
Right.
And when I look at your content creation videos, you speak a lot about current affairs.
Right.
How important? So basically I'll tell the way I invest. So basically I do not go to screeners. P ratio इतना है, PV ratio इतना है, profit इतना बना है, so promoter holdings इतना है. I do not do that. So that is required. Those are the metrics which is required. But I do business analysis. Like let's say one of my friend wants me to invest in his company. So I'm going to look at various factors like how the product is going to be after 5 years, what is the potential for the product, and how the business, what is the location, and all these things. We look at that when we are putting our money outside with our friend.
Right.
But when we are putting in the market, then I invest. So I do business analysis. So basically I check what the business is doing, what are their sales, what are their future pipeline, what are the products, what are the innovations they are going to do, which is going to trigger the growth of the company. But many people go by the name of the company to invest. So what is the best way with current affairs to do business analysis and invest?
You picked up a very nice topic, Shashank. I thought I would discuss this, and then it went off my mind.
Okay.
Business analysis, most of them don't do this. They don't do the business analysis. Now I mentioned Harish Naik sir, right?
Correct.
One day while we were discussing, he invests very good amount of money in the markets. Very good amount. It doesn't show off.
Okay.
Very good amount of money in the market, right? And then I say, so what do you see in the company? He's a CFA guy.
Okay.
So I say, so what do you see in the company before investing? Usually we have conversations in Hindi. Rakshith, जब भी तू company देखेगा ना, a business can fail if the founder is not good.
Correct.
No matter how strong the business is.
Correct.
A founder should have tight balls to take right decisions. The word that he said. I was like, okay, so it is really not about the business. When the founder is right, even if the business model is a bit here and there, if he takes right decisions at the right time, I think the companies would work.
Companies would work.
Right. But unfortunately, you cannot get into all the business. 7,000 companies are listed.
Correct.
You cannot just go meet the founder, because of course Narayan Murthy sir is not going to give a meeting for me to see if he has that decision making capability. So at that point of time, you will just have to look at the numbers of the company. That's what he said.
Correct.
So I think that became very relatable. And coming to current affairs keeps changing. See, current affairs, why it changes? Now, let's say I take you back in time. Let me take you back to 1992.
Okay.
When the Harshad Mehta scene happened. Now, assume you're in 1992, you hear Harshad Mehta's scam has happened, and the market started falling. The market has crashed.
Correct.
Now people have the same situation. What now the mindset they have? The market is gone. तो सट्टा है. People don't make money here.
Correct.
People lose money. Correct. 10 years down the lane, does that matter to you now?
No.
Correct. So the current affairs keeps changing. Geopolitical issues has always been there. Current affairs keeps changing. Countries keep fighting. It is not something new the market has not seen.
So it's basically very dynamic.
It's very dynamic. It's very dynamic. Like it's not like अगर ये situation होता है यहाँ पे मैं invest करूँगा. It doesn't work that way. Long run में कुछ matter नहीं करता है. Long run में the only thing that matters is have you stayed still when there was problem.
Okay.
Now people are leaving. People are not staying in the market and they're leaving. And I think that's when the market moves.
Okay. With this current situation, market has fallen and the prices of crude, I was very surprised to see from 5,000 non-stop it has gone to 8,000 levels right now. It is 3,000 points in last Feb. I think it made a bottom at 5,000 levels.
Right.
And it has bounced back so sharply. People didn't know what to do because they were only looking at stock market. So crude, what happened? Crude has lost its charm a few years back. Even we were very intrigued to trade in crude. I was basically at one point of time I used to only do Adani ports and crude oil trading. Adani ports daily trade because it was very volatile, and option buyers, if there is no volatility, you're not going to make money. People will be like, "Mujhe stable market chahiye." That is their kind of demand. In a stable market, in option buying, you're not going to make money. In option selling, definitely there are many opportunities to make money in a stable market because you can predict. And in volatile market, it is not like that. You don't know when the moves are going to come. When those moves are coming, you can capture it. You have that opportunity. Crude and Adani ports were going mad in the market, and crude, once my edge in crude, the strategy which I had lost its edge, I stopped trading crude completely. And when I got to know about the current situations that Iran is going through, fighting with multiple countries right now, then there was an opportunity. But I unfortunately did not hold for one extra day. If I would have held, it would have been a very big return. Very big return. Market next day after I exited moved 1,000 points. So people are not able to connect dots. If stock market is falling due to a war, and there was a news, I think even your video was there about this Strait of Hormuz, they have blocked the path, and we get our petroleum 80-90% from there. Crude, all our crude comes from there. So if that is disrupted, the prices of crude is going to go up. People do not they are not educated. Okay, stock market is falling, where should I focus? Okay, if you don't have an opportunity to invest, if you don't have an opportunity to take a swing trade here, you could have gone to crude oil. So these kind of things are lacking in our thing. So current affairs, why I asked you this question is, these kind of things are impacted in one or the other instrument in our market.
Correct.
Okay. So what would you think, and what are your expectations and the outcomes of this particular
Geopolitics,
currently happening?
If I say this, people might laugh. I don't see anything at all. I don't see an issue at all.
Okay.
See, it's very simple. Iran wants nuclear. They want to enrich uranium. Trump and Israel don't want it to happen.
Correct.
यहाँ पे इंडिया को कुछ effect ही नहीं है. India is not at all involved.
Correct.
India doesn't import petroleum. They import only crude. And they, they refine millions of barrels every day, and then they export it to the outer world. Correct. So वो import में भी problem नहीं है. Strait of Hormuz is blocked. Correct. Strait of Hormuz is blocked. Now Trump has waived off 30 days. You can take oil from Russia. So it's not going to impact that much. Price impact might be on LPG and petroleum. But problem for India can arise only if these keep exceeding for months and years. Like if you see Russia and Ukraine, it went for 4-5 years.
Correct. It's still going on for no good reason.
And at the same time, I think बहुत जल्दी peace deal भी हो जाना चाहिए. The peace deal should be signed off. That's what even I am expecting personally, because you won't fight, for so long putting everything at risk.
Correct.
And India right now, see, as you said, current affairs affects the traders. If you're
Correct.
someone who is everyday trading in the market, everyday looking at it, current affairs matters a lot. But if you're for an investor, should not be worried about any current affairs. It's just that you are buying something very good at a discounted price every time it falls.
Correct.
That's the only
just another opportunity.
That's another opportunity. And coming to current geopolitical issues, what I see is this is just a regional war. It's not a world war.
Okay.
World war happens only when the major countries, be it China, Russia, any other countries, is directly involved into the war. Only then the World War III might happen. But I don't see it happening because very soon the negotiation should happen. Diplomacy has to come in place.
Correct.
At some point of time, diplomacy has to come in place.
Okay.
Now, let's say if I'm going to start a war and I know that my house is going to get blasted, there is no use for me to blast your house.
Correct.
So it's just that who has power? It's just a power game. Ki, this is what I have, this is what I can do.
Okay.
Now let's come on the table and we'll discuss what we can do.
Okay.
So, and बहुत जल्दी खत्म हो जाता है. It has
Okay.
happened before.
Understood. And for the investors who might be seeing this podcast, what is your belief on our economy? And do you see the market beating all other countries' indices, or are we going to stagnate like the market of Japan?
No. See, if you see Japan and India, there's a lot of difference. Japan, they're not working age people. Main currents.
Okay.
The main factor is Japan is not a working age people. I think the median age for Japan is somewhere between 50 to 60. I don't remember the exact number.
Okay.
They're not working age. For India, the median age is between 28 and 30.
Okay.
The average age of Indian. So at the age of 28 and 30, you're more focused towards building something.
Okay.
Working hard, making money. And the current generation, if you see, consumption is very high. Now, you see US. ठीक है? वहाँ पे manufacturing, we usually compare three economies, correct?
Correct.
US, India, China, correct? US, if you see, consumption is very high. Let's say 90% consumption or even 95% consumption, 5% is what they manufacture.
Correct.
Mostly it is import and exports a bit. But they are highly consumed country, consumption. China is
High export.
opposite. High export, they are manufacturers. Now India is the only country which is balanced. We consume, we
And
also
we export.
manufacture.
Correct.
Correct. Now this is a country where, of course, you have an opportunity to invest. So I don't see like the economy falling off, or because now we have liquidity, which we did not have years ago. Now, if you see 2008 crisis, when Lehman Brothers crisis happened and the markets fell, the IT bubble followed through, right? The markets fell 50, 60, 70%. Right?
Okay.
At that point of time, the liquidity itself was not there.
Correct.
Correct? The liquidity was not there. Even still, the market had recovered. Very good. Today, where we are, much higher level than what we were in 2008 crisis. Correct. Now, the possibilities of something that happening is reduced because now we have liquidity. Every month we have more than 20,000 crores of SIPs inflow.
Correct.
Which at a certain point in 2005, 2006, I think every 2-3 years you used to get 20,000.
Correct.
It is multifold now.
I think in 2023, the rally which Indian markets had, that was the highest number of mutual funds collected on a monthly basis. I think we hit a high of 47,000 crores or something, which was a single month high of inflow into SIPs. But what problem I see right now is market situation currently in the last 2 years, even mutual funds have not been able to give the kind of returns or any returns for newcomers. Basically what happens, even if your monthly SIP is green, next month it gets averaged out and the other month. So people in Indian market right now, you told me consumption is high, manufacturing is high. So basically the world is moving into a premiumization, which India had never seen in the past. So people who could never afford a car are buying supercars right now.
Correct.
Okay, that is the kind of growth which we have seen. So that is the growth which we have seen, and the future growth, it is not known to us.
Right.
what I see is, if mutual funds are not performing in the last 2 years, let's say someone who has entered in 2024 and till date he's either at cost or slightly negative of 8 to 10% negative, and the market is currently in a downtrend. If this happens for 3-4 years, many people will lose interest and many people will start pulling out money.
Correct.
Will this play an impact, or do you think we'll surpass it and go ahead in terms of growth?
I think we'll surpass it, one, because see, it's just a phase.
Okay.
There is always bull market, there is always bear market, and there is always years of consolidation that has happened before. Correct. A certain amount of liquidity might come out, but once the market starts moving again, a new amount of the new liquidity also enters the market. So it's all just temporary. At the end, people come to market.
Okay.
At the end, and you mentioned about mutual funds, why mutual funds are not performing, and all these things. As a fund manager, from a fund manager's perspective, when you see, every fund manager has their own philosophy. Correct. For some fund manager, they would want to pick momentum companies. For some fund manager, they would want to pick value companies. For some manager, might be very aggressive, picking up even at a higher level.
Okay.
He would be very okay with picking those companies. So the entire psychology, or adoption of fund managers, the kind of system they adapt, is very different. It differs from fund managers to fund managers, but the core comes to the same. At the end, they want to be aggressive, they want to beat the market.
Correct.
That's the reason you invest in
Mutual funds.
Right? If Nifty is giving, let's say, 12%, 13% returns, I would want to make, after all my cost, 15-16% returns is what I expect.
Okay.
Correct? Now, to do that, the fund managers, to some extent, minimum, he has to be a bit aggressive. Correct? Now, when he goes aggressive, he picks good companies, but due to the market conditions, the index moved, but not the companies. Now, I own the companies, I don't own the index.
Correct.
As a fund manager, if you see, I own the companies, I don't own the index.
Correct.
So, of course, if the index has moved and the company has not moved, the fund will also not move.
Correct.
Now, that does not mean that companies will not move at all.
Correct.
At some point of time, a fair value should be met.
Okay.
That will happen at some point.
Okay. I think this was told by one of the great investors of our country. अंत में स्टॉक को और इंसान को ऊपर ही जाना है. So that phase will come, but people have to be patient with all these kind of market scenarios and focus more on building capital in their mutual funds, and in future they'll benefit and reap the rewards of compounding.
Right.
Okay, so we have discussed a lot of interesting points, lot of value that people can take away from this particular podcast. Thanks for sharing a lot of insight, and enough of stock market for now and the geopolitical situations. I want to get back to your journey, and you're there into content creation from 2014.
Yeah.
From the time of Facebook.
Right.
I think many people who are seeing this video wouldn't have been active on Facebook, or they wouldn't have known what happened on Facebook back then. So Facebook to Instagram, then you have a lot of other this thing. You had quit in between, then you had restarted.
Right.
And last December, you were at 12,000 followers on Instagram, and right now you are at 62,000, which is a good growth. You're not advertising, you're organically, people are liking your content.
Right.
You're adding them value. So what is the main reason? What is the main focus for you to come in, day out, and give audience good content, good education at free of cost?
One thing is that the game of content creation, it's always been about consistency.
Okay.
There is also a saying, consistency beats talent. Just because, I was in a delusion last 10 years now. I was in a delusion that I'm doing great, I'm talented, I'm good at acting. I don't have fear to come in front of camera. I don't have stage fear. These are all my strength.
Okay.
Now, at that point of time, I was so much overconfident that I'm talented, I'm going to get settled. Right? But if you're talented and if you're not being consistent at what you're doing, your talent becomes shit. It's just useless. It's just like you're a greatest cricketer, you're sitting in front of the TV and then judging MS Dhoni.
Okay.
It just works like that.
Got it.
And I don't know who said this. I don't remember the name, but it's very beautiful. There are only two outcomes. Either you win or you don't. And when you don't win, you tell yourself a delusion story. The story of luck. The luck is not in my favor.
Correct.
I'm doing everything that needs to happen, but luck is not supporting me.
Correct.
That's just a delusion story that you're telling yourself, a false story, right? If you did it right, it would have happened.
It would have.
If it did not happen, you did not do it right.
Correct.
Be open enough to accept and then fix it, because if it did not happen for you, it happened to someone else who were more consistent
than you.
who were more disciplined than you. So it's just that I came out of that delusion few months back.
Okay.
I'm not the best.
Okay.
That's a delusion that I'm living in.
Okay. Even to most of our students, when they ask, sir, I know, like when they inquire about course, they tell, Indian stock market, I know everything. But I want to come here for the live trading floor experience, is what people say. At that time, I'll be like, only one thing. How much ever you know, come to our institute like you know nothing. That is when you're going to learn. If you come with a mindset that you know everything, you're going to be so arrogant that if someone is trying to educate you, you're never going to learn from that. So ego and arrogance in stock market, I think if you see a month of profitability, it goes into a peak. You think you're the king of the market, and all these kind of mindsets come into the, as you said, consistency beats hard work. Consistency beats talent. So everyone should come into the mindset of this thing, and whatever they are doing, trading, if they are doing content creation or anything in their livelihood, they have to follow this kind of mindset. That is a great input which people can take away from this. And what is the best decision you have made in your life, and what is the worst decision you have made in your life?
Best decision is being aggressive to do things that I love.
Okay.
Now I've built up a studio, like in my own house.
Okay.
Now this idea of building up a studio was in 2015.
Okay.
While I could, if I tried, I could have built it at that point of time.
Correct.
But you would want to play low key. Because you come from a middle class family, you want to save money, and then this becomes very, like, what do you say, expensive. You would feel this is not worth it, this is just a time pass. You would feel yourself, no matter how much you're into that passion.
Correct.
Right? The best decision that I took few months back is, fuck it, I'm going to do everything that I want to do. I want a studio, I'm going to own it. I want the latest phone. If it is going to increase my production, if it's going to save my time, if it's going to increase my quality of content, I'm going to go for it.
Okay.
If I need a Mac that's going to speed up my process, anything that is resisting that I'm doing that I love, upgrading it without being fearful about it is what the good decision that I've made.
Okay.
And the bad decision was opposite to that. Being very naive, like, okay, let's see next year. You know, consistency breaks on the first day itself.
Correct.
The first day you would want to do it next week, the next week becomes next month, the next month becomes next year becomes 5 years, and then it becomes a decade. And then you look back and see you would have lost a decade. That's what happened with me also.
Got it. When you said the opposite, exact opposite, when I was watching a podcast, I was looking at a very interesting podcast. At the end, he told the most dangerous people in the world are lazy, ambitious people.
Correct.
So whenever we start postponing things, that is when we are not. That is when someone else is going to come overtake what you are doing. So this is a great learning. Be it in terms of stock market, the education we have got, the insights which you have provided us. It is all great to hear from a person who has had a roller coaster, a person talking with experience. It is not like you have entered yesterday and you're speaking about the market today. You have a backing of experience when you're speaking. So it is a great honor for us to be hosting you with Decoding the Markets episode 6, and we wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thanks for coming to our podcast. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Rakshith.